the one, the only Benzion. Good evening and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun Benzion. Tonight's daf is Benzion Gittin, daf Memvav, number 46. Two Mishnayos we dealt with today. First Mishnah, Menhem and Beis, deals with he gets divorced from a woman because he suspects her of adultery, or she took an Adarim, she took a lot of chumras upon himself, wasn't happy with his wife. Reb Meir, who we hold like, Reb Meir B'Gzeiroso, says that they made a takana, Chazal made a takana, that you can no longer remarry that woman. Because if we allowed him to remarry her, he might go ahead and void the get, and she may remarry somebody else, and her children are mamzerim with that second husband. So we're worried about that. We're worried about Kilkula, the Gemara says, Kilkula. Then we have a Mishnah on Memvav and Beis, where you get rid of your wife because she's not capable of bearing children. She's an islandess. And it seems that Rabbi Yehuda, who in the Mishnah Mehem Beis was not worried about Kilkula, he had a different concern. Here he's worried about Kilkula, that you're going to go ahead and she's going to remarry somebody else, and then you're going to void the first marriage because it turned out she had children from her second husband. She really wasn't an islandess. Rabbi Yehuda is worried. He says, to prevent that from happening, that you shouldn't go ahead and void the original gerushin. And the Tanakama, which is Reb Meir, and the maskana of the Gemara on Memvav Beis before the Mishnah is that it's Reb Meir. He says we're not worried about that, and the reason we're not worried about that, the Gemara says Reb Meir, is because even though Reb Meir is worried about Kilkula, we see it from Memvav Beis. He's the one that's worried about Kilkula. He's going to do that. He's going to void the get. Here we're not worried about that because lo kafel tonight. He didn't make a tonight kafel. Reb Meir is the opinion. You need mishpatei tonight. You need certain tonight. When you make a gerish and a kedushin al tonight, a stipulation, I'm megarish you on the fact that I'm giving you $100. You have to say it in a certain way. You have to say the tonight before the ma'isa. Ma'isa before the, I forgot which one, but you have to say one of them is tonight kafel. You have to say if I'm megarish you, if I give you $100, I'm megarish you. It's a good garish. If I don't give you $100, it's not a good garish. You have to say it in both ways. Otherwise, it's not clear. It's not a clear Tanai. And the reason they explain, we hold like Reb Meir Mishnah Tanaim, is because a Tanai is milsach, where you see here like the Russia. It's not as, right? When I say Harat Migureshes, Almenas, right, on Tanai. So this Tanai is by definition weaker than the actual statement. You're making a statement, you're giving her a get, or you're making it dependent on something else. You have to strengthen that Tanai to make the validity of the garish dependent on that. Now, that's Reb Meir. We pass on like Reb Meir because we hold tonight is milsach. What do you say? Now, the problem is that since the Gemara says Reb Meir is always chayash l'kula, but the Mishnah on Memvav Beis is not chayash l'kula because he wasn't makvil his tanai. He didn't make a tanai kafel, so he can't invalidate the marriage to the islandess. He can't invalidate the get that he gave to the islandess. But in the Mishnah Mehem Beis, Reb Meir is chayash l'kula, and we are worried that after he made it takana lo yachzir, so he shouldn't go ahead and annul the marriage. Right? There's no point in helping him void the marriage because he can't remarry her. That's why he's going to be hesitant to do that. That's the purpose according to Reb Meir. But it would emerge that from the fact that the Mishnah Memvav Beis, Reb Meir says he didn't make a Tanai kafel. The Mishnah on Mehem Beis means he did make a Tanai kafel. So if he made a Tanai kafel, so why did Reb Meir have to make a gzeira that he shouldn't be, right? They shouldn't be machzir to her. If I made a Tanai kafel, right, I am megarish you al Tanai that you committed adultery, or that you made a neder that I don't like, right? And basically he's kofel the Tanai and he says, I'm not megarish you if you didn't commit adultery. And it turns out what? She didn't commit adultery, right? So the children become zerim anyway, because once he makes a Tanai kafel, the gerushin is batal by itself. He doesn't have to go ahead and invalidate, make the gerushin void anymore. He makes it tonight kafel, it's void by itself. If it turns out she didn't commit adultery, that the truth emerges, so the gerushin is void by itself. And there's nothing to talk about making a takana over here. Her children are mamzera. So I believe the answer to this question is no. Like the Gemara is really, Reb Meir also in the first measure was not talking about a tonight kafel. You do have to make it tonight kafel, but if you look carefully in the Gemara explicitly, according to the first lishna of Rav Yosef, the very bottom in Mehem Beis, Amar Rav Yosef Rav Yumi Amar Rav Nachman Husha Amar La Mishum Shemra Ani Motzecha Mishum Neder Ani Motzecha. he has to say. The Mishnah was talking about a specific case. Now, it doesn't say he made a Tanai. Because, like we said in Mem Vavam and Beis, right? Mem also was not talking about lo kafel a Tanai. He did make a Tanai kafel. And the Mishnah Mehem also, he also didn't make a Tanai kafel. But he made a Gilui Das. Even though we know that a Tanai is considered weak, but if I make a Gilui Das, like I've stated this numerous times, that a Tanai is only considered Milsa Achrisi if it's the second half of your statement. I'm a garish you on condition that I give you $100. If I say, I'm going to give you $100, and with this $100, you're going to go reshes, right? I made the Tanai before the Maisa, right? So basically, the Tanai is more, the whole Gerishin is only dependent on the Maisa, right? Take $100 and you're Megureshes, right? If that's the first part of your statement, the Tanai, right? So that's not a milsach, so that's the integral part of your statement, right? If I say I'm going to megarish you almanas on condition that I give you something, so the first statement is I'm megarish you, and then the stipulation is that stipulation strong enough to avoid it if it doesn't happen. You have to do certain things to make it stronger. But if the Tanai is the first part, you don't have to do that technically. And here we're not even talking about a man at Tanai, but he did a gilui milsa. Even though we say dvarim shabalev einam dvarim, if I'm a kaddish a woman, and then I say no, I didn't have in mind to kaddish you. I didn't know that you're a lefty. I thought I was marrying a righty. I thought you were a lefty. That's dvarim shabalev dvarim shabalev einam dvarim we pass. And you can't say that. But if I make a gilui das, I say here I'm going to kaddish you, and by the way I'm a kaddish you. Just know that I'm marrying a righty, right? You make a gilui das, right? A moda. Talking about Masechus Basra, I say something. I tell you what I'm thinking. Right? Dvarim shabalev einam dvarim is because I didn't express. How do I know that's what you were thinking? But if I say what I'm thinking, like gilui das, then I know that the whole kedushin, the whole gerushin, is totally based on my thought process. So Rameir is talking. He didn't make a Tanai couple, but he did, like the Gemara says, according to the first Lishna in Rav Nachman, is that he said, know that I'm being a megarish you because you're suspicious of arayos, or because you're suspicious of, or because I suspect you of making a darim. And he tells her that he makes a gilui das. Once he makes that gilui das, so therefore it's like the Tanai before the Maisa, or it's like kafle l'Tanai. It's not talking about a couple of Tanai, but he did say this, which is the equivalent of a Tanai, and that's why, that's the Gemara is explaining, basically, that's why he has the ability to go ahead and retroactively void the gerushin, because if you make a Tanai couple, it's void me'ela. But if I make a moda, you have to still go back and show that I'm sticking to that moda, and that's why they said lo yachzer, you can't get remarried, so he won't use this moda as means of voiding the get. Hope you enjoyed tonight's share. See you in the next one.